Chosen one, why so many people feel lonely today is not the reason you have been told. There is a hidden truth behind your loneliness, and many never discover it until years of pain have already passed. What you are feeling is deeper than isolation. It is deeper than being ignored. It is deeper than having nobody around you. Listen carefully. Do not skip this message, because what I'm about to reveal now can change everything you think of. If you leave now, you may miss the answer you have been praying for. I am speaking to the place in your heart that nobody else can see. You smile when people are watching. You answer questions with "I'm fine." You continue your daily routine. Yet deep inside, there is a quiet ache that follows you into the morning and stays with you through the night. And you have wondered, why do I still feel alone? Why do I feel unseen? Why does it seem like nobody truly understands what I carry? Chosen one, many people are surrounded by voices yet starving for connection. Many are seen but not known. Many are heard but not understood. Many are connected to everyone and close to no one. The loneliness that is spreading through hearts today is not simply the absence of people. It is the absence of genuine connection, truth, and spiritual intimacy. You were created for more than temporary conversations. You were created for more than shallow attention. You were created for relationship, with others, yes, but first with me. And that is the hidden truth many have overlooked. When the soul becomes disconnected from its creator, it begins searching for fulfillment in places that cannot satisfy. It searches through achievements. It searches through distractions. It searches through approval. It searches through constant noise. Yet the emptiness remains. Why? Because a thirsty soul cannot be satisfied by things that were never designed to give it living water. Remember what is written in John 4 verse 14. Whoever drinks the water I give them will never thirst. Chosen one, there are nights when you feel abandoned, but I have not left you. There are moments when nobody calls, nobody checks on you, nobody notices your struggle, and you wonder whether your life matters. But I ask you this, have you mistaken silence for abandonment? Have you assumed that because people walked away, I walked away too? Have you believed the lie that being alone means being forgotten? No. The enemy wants you to believe that loneliness is proof that you are unloved. But often, loneliness becomes the place where my voice can finally be heard above every distraction. Think about it. When everything became quiet, what thoughts filled your mind? What fears surfaced? What wounds began speaking? What memories returned? Many people run from loneliness because loneliness exposes what busyness hides. But what if the very place you have been trying to escape is the place where healing begins? What if the silence is revealing wounds that I want to restore? What if the emptiness is exposing areas where I want to fill your heart with my presence? Chosen one, I know the disappointment you rarely talk about. I know the friendship that broke your trust. I know the rejection that changed the way you see yourself. I know the relationship that left scars you still carry. I know the moments when you sat alone wondering why life feels different than you expected. And I want you to understand something powerful. Your pain is real, but your pain is not your identity. Your loneliness is an experience. It is not who you are. Because before anyone accepted you, I chose you. Before anyone understood you, I knew you. Before anyone loved you, I loved you. As it is written in Isaiah 41 verse 10. Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. Many people today are trying to cure loneliness by adding more people to their lives. Yet what they truly need is deeper healing within their hearts. A crowded room cannot heal a wounded spirit. 1,000 followers cannot replace genuine love. External attention cannot repair internal emptiness. That is why some people feel lonely even when surrounded by family, friends, and opportunities. The wound is not around them. The wound is within them. And healing begins when they stop hiding it from me. And that is where many people struggle, chosen one. They bring me their achievements. They bring me their plans. They bring me the version of themselves they want everyone else to see. But they hide the broken places. They hide the tears. They hide the questions. They hide the disappointment. Yet the very thing you are hiding is the very thing I am asking you to place in my hands. Tell me, how long have you been carrying burdens that were never meant for your shoulders? How many nights have you replayed the same hurt over and over in your mind? How many times have you convinced yourself that nobody would understand? How many times have you sat in a room full of people and still felt invisible? I know. I have seen every moment. I have counted every tear. As it is written in Psalm 56 verse 8, I keep record of your wanderings and collect your tears. Nothing about your pain has escaped my attention. Nothing. Not the heartbreak. Not the disappointment. Not the loneliness. Not the silent battles you fight when nobody else is around. Chosen one, there is something I need you to understand. Loneliness often speaks with a voice that sounds convincing. It whispers, "You don't matter. You are forgotten. You are unwanted. You will always be alone." And because the voice repeats itself over and over, many begin to believe it. But a lie does not become truth simply because it has been repeated. Listen to me carefully. Your value does not come from how many people choose you. Your value comes from the one who created you. A diamond remains valuable even when buried beneath dirt. Its condition does not change its worth, and neither does yours. You have allowed some people's rejection to become the measure of your identity. You have allowed someone's absence to convince you that you are not enough. But what if they left because they were never assigned to stay? What if the door that closed was protecting you from a greater wound? What if the friendship that ended was making room for growth you could not yet see? What if the season of loneliness is not punishment but preparation? Think about the life of Joseph. There were moments when he was misunderstood, moments when he was rejected, moments when he was separated from everyone familiar. There were seasons when it appeared that he had been forgotten. Yet I was working in every hidden place. Every setback became part of a greater purpose. Every lonely chapter prepared him for a future he could not yet imagine. Chosen one, sometimes you are frustrated because you cannot see what I am doing. You want immediate answers. You want instant relief. You want the pain to disappear today. But faith grows in places where sight cannot reach. That is why Proverbs 3 verse 5 says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding." You do not have to understand everything to trust me. You do not have to see the entire path to take the next step. You do not have to know how the story ends to know that I am writing it. There are people listening right now who have become exhausted. Not physically, spiritually, emotionally, mentally. You have been strong for so long that nobody realizes how tired you are. You keep encouraging others while secretly needing encouragement yourself. You keep helping others while carrying wounds nobody knows about. You keep showing up while wondering who would show up for you. And the question hidden deep inside your heart is this: does anyone truly see me? Yes, I see you. I see the mother crying when nobody is watching. I see the father carrying pressure he cannot explain. I see the young person fighting insecurity behind a smile. I see the person who feels forgotten after giving so much of themselves to others. I see the one who has begun losing hope. And I am speaking directly to you now. Do not measure my presence by your feelings. There will be days when you feel strong. There will be days when you feel weak. There will be days when my presence feels near. There will be days when everything feels silent. But my faithfulness does not change with your emotions. The sun still exists even when clouds hide it, and my presence remains even when your feelings cannot detect it. That is why David declared in Psalm 23, "Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me." Notice he said through the valley, not stuck in the valley, not buried in the valley, not abandoned in the valley. Through it. The valley was a passage, not a destination. And I need someone listening to understand this. Your loneliness is not your final destination. Your heartbreak is not your final destination. Your confusion is not your final destination. This season is not the end of your story. There is still healing ahead. There is still purpose ahead. There is still restoration ahead. There is still joy ahead. And while you are waiting, do not waste the lessons hidden in this season. Because some of the deepest wisdom is learned in places where nobody is applauding you. Some of the strongest faith is built when nobody else understands what you are going through. Some of the closest moments with me happen when every other voice becomes quiet. So instead of asking only, "Why am I lonely?" ask this: what is God teaching me here? What strength is being developed in me? What wounds is He revealing so He can heal them? What truth have I been unable to hear because life was too loud? The answers to those questions can transform your life forever. Because, chosen one of the greatest mistakes people make is believing that loneliness is only something to escape. But sometimes loneliness is a classroom. Sometimes it is a wilderness. Sometimes it is a sacred place where distractions are removed, so truth can finally be heard. Think about it. When everything was busy, how often did you stop and examine your heart? When everyone was around, how often did you listen to the wounds hidden beneath your laughter? When life was moving fast, how often did you ask yourself why certain memories still hurt? Why certain words still echo in your mind? Why certain disappointments still have power over your emotions? Many people spend years running from these questions. They fill every quiet moment with noise. They keep themselves busy. They scroll endlessly. They chase one distraction after another. Not because they are happy, but because they are afraid of what they might discover in the silence. Yet healing begins where honesty begins. And I cannot heal the wound you keep pretending does not exist. I am not asking you to impress me. I am asking you to be real with me. The tears you hide from others, I already see. The fears you never say out loud, I already know. The questions you feel guilty for asking, I already understand. Some of you have asked, Lord, if you love me, why do I feel so alone? And that question comes from a hurting heart. But listen carefully. The feeling of loneliness is not proof of my absence. Even my servants in Scripture experienced moments of deep loneliness. Elijah stood in a place where he felt abandoned. He believed he was the only one left. His fear convinced him that nobody understood. His pain convinced him that nobody cared. Yet his perception was not reality. I was still there. I was still working. I was still protecting him. And I was preparing blessings he could not yet see. How many times has your pain lied to you? How many times has fear convinced you that tomorrow will never get better? How many times has disappointment made you forget the victories I already brought into your life? The human mind has a tendency to focus on what is missing while ignoring what remains. You may have lost a relationship, but you still have purpose. You may have lost support, but you still have value. You may have lost a season, but you have not lost your future. Chosen one, hear me clearly. The enemy wants your loneliness to become isolation. There is a difference. Loneliness is a feeling. Isolation is a decision. And many people, after being hurt, begin building walls around their hearts. They tell themselves, I will never trust again. I will never open up again. I will never let anyone get close again. At first, those walls feel safe. But eventually, the same walls that keep pain out also keep love out. The same walls that block rejection also block connection. The same walls that protect the heart can slowly become a prison. Is that what has happened to you? Have you become so focused on protecting yourself that you have stopped allowing yourself to heal? Have you been carrying old wounds into new seasons? Have you allowed yesterday's pain to determine today's choices? Chosen one, not everyone who enters your life will hurt you. Not every chapter will end in disappointment. Not every door leads to heartbreak. And not every person is sent to leave. Sometimes healing requires courage. The courage to trust again. The courage to hope again. The courage to believe again. The courage to love again. And that courage does not come from human strength alone. It comes from knowing that even if people fail you, I never will. Hebrews 13 verse 5 declares, I will never leave you nor forsake you. Not when you are strong. Not when you are weak. Not when you understand everything. Not when you are confused. Not when life makes sense. Not when your heart is breaking. Never. Let that sink into your spirit. There has never been a moment when I abandoned you. Not one. I was there during the nights you cried yourself to sleep. I was there when your heart broke. I was there when nobody answered the phone. I was there when you sat alone wondering if anyone cared. I was there when you felt invisible. And I am here now. Right now. At this very moment. Closer than your fears. Closer than your doubts. Closer than your pain. Closer than your next breath. Chosen one, some of you have been waiting for people to fill a place in your heart that only my presence can fill. That is why every temporary solution eventually disappoints you. People are gifts, but they were never meant to replace me. Relationships are blessings, but they were never meant to become your foundation. When your identity depends entirely on human approval, loneliness becomes unbearable. Because people change, opinions change, circumstances change, but I do not change. Malachi 3 verse 6 says, For I am the Lord, I change not. And that means the love I have for you today is not weaker than it was yesterday. It is not stronger when you succeed. It is not smaller when you fail. It is constant, unshaken, unmovable, eternal. The world teaches people to chase acceptance, but I am teaching you something deeper. You do not need to earn what I have already given. You are already loved. You are already seen. You are already known. You are already valued. And when that truth takes root in your heart, loneliness begins to lose its power. Because you stop looking to people for what only I can provide. And that is where true freedom begins. And when true freedom begins, chosen one, something remarkable starts to happen inside your heart. You stop chasing people who have already decided to walk away. You stop begging for attention that should have been given freely. You stop measuring your worth by who stayed and who left. You stop asking, what's wrong with me? And you begin asking, Lord, what do you say about me? That question changes everything, because the world will tell you one thing. Your fears will tell you another. Your past will tell you something else. But my voice speaks truth, and truth has the power to break chains that have held you captive for years. Some of you listening have carried loneliness for so long that it feels normal. You wake up with it. You go to sleep with it. You have learned how to function with it. You have become so accustomed to carrying the weight that you no longer remember what peace feels like. But I did not create you to merely survive. I created you to live. I created you to experience my peace. I created you to walk in hope. I created you to know that your life has meaning beyond your current pain. The enemy wants you focused on what you have lost. I want you focused on what remains. You still have purpose. You still have breath in your lungs. You still have gifts inside you. You still have opportunities ahead of you. You still have a future. And most importantly, you still have me. There are people listening right now who feel like life has passed them by. You see others smiling, others succeeding, others finding companionship, others moving forward. And secretly you wonder, why not me? Why does it seem like everyone else belongs somewhere? Why do I feel left behind? Chosen one, comparison is one of the fastest ways to deepen loneliness. Because comparison convinces you that everyone else's life is complete while yours is lacking. But you are comparing your hidden struggles to someone else's public image. You are comparing your private battles to their visible moments. You are comparing chapters without knowing the whole story. Do you know how many people smile while carrying unbearable pain? Do you know how many people appear confident while secretly battling insecurity? Do you know how many people look surrounded by love while feeling desperately alone? The struggles of the heart are often invisible. That is why I tell you not to compare your journey to another person's path. I am writing a unique story with your life, and what I am building in you cannot be measured against what I am building in someone else. Listen carefully. Your season may feel slow, but slow does not mean forgotten. Your prayers may seem unanswered, but delayed does not mean denied. Your loneliness may feel permanent, but feelings are not prophecies. Many people mistake a season for a lifetime. They assume that because they feel lonely today, they will feel lonely forever. Because they are hurting now, they will always hurt. Because they are waiting now, they will always wait. But I am the God who changes seasons. I am the God who opens doors nobody can shut. I am the God who restores what seems impossible to restore. Remember Sarah. Remember Joseph. Remember Ruth. Remember David. Again and again, what looked impossible became possible because I was involved. And I have not changed. The same God who worked in their stories is working in yours. Even when you cannot see it. Even when you cannot feel it. Even when you do not understand it. Romans 8 verse 28 declares, "And we know that all things work together for good to those who love God." Notice it does not say some things. It says all things. The heartbreak, the waiting, the confusion, the loneliness, the disappointment, the unanswered questions, the silent tears. I can take every broken piece and weave it into something beautiful. But first, you must stop believing that your story is over. Some of you have already begun writing endings that I never wrote. You have decided that nothing will change. You have decided that healing is impossible. You have decided that joy belongs to other people, but not to you. Who told you that? Certainly not me. Because my word says in Psalm 30 verse 5, "Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning." Notice that weeping has a season, but it is not forever. The night has an expiration date. The darkness has a limit. The pain has a boundary. And the morning always comes. Chosen one, I know it may not feel like morning yet. You may still be sitting in the darkness. You may still be carrying unanswered questions. You may still be wondering when things will change. But do not give up in the middle of the night. Do not abandon hope before sunrise. Do not stop believing because you cannot yet see what I am preparing. Many people quit just before breakthrough. Many people surrender just before healing begins. Many people stop praying just before the answer arrives. Do not be one of them. Keep trusting. Keep believing. Keep walking. Keep seeking me. Because every step of faith you take in the darkness is preparing you for the light that is coming. And when that light breaks through, you will realize that even in your loneliest moments, I was carrying you through places you could never have crossed alone. Chosen one, I know it may not feel like morning yet. You may still be sitting in the darkness. You may still be carrying unanswered questions. You may still be wondering when things will change. But do not give up in the middle of the night. Do not abandon hope before sunrise. Do not stop believing because you cannot yet see what I am preparing. Many people quit just before breakthrough. Many people surrender just before healing begins. Many people stop praying just before the answer arrives. Do not be one of them. Keep trusting. Keep believing. Keep walking. Keep seeking me. Because every step of faith you take in the darkness is preparing you for the light that is coming. And when that light breaks through, you will realize that even in your loneliest moments, I was carrying you through places you could never have crossed alone. And one day, chosen one, you will look back on this season and realize something that seems impossible for you to understand right now. The very season that almost broke you was also the season that built you. The nights that felt empty taught you how to hear my voice. The disappointments that crushed your expectations taught you where true hope comes from. The loneliness that made you cry taught you that my presence is not dependent on human company. Right now, you may only see the pain, but I see the purpose hidden inside the pain. A sculptor sees the masterpiece while others only see the stone. A farmer sees the harvest while others only see the seed. And I see the person you are becoming while you are focused on the struggle you are facing. That is why I need you to stop calling yourself what your pain calls you. Your pain may call you forgotten. I call you chosen. Your pain may call you abandoned. I call you loved. Your pain may call you broken. I call you redeemed. Your pain may call you weak. I call you strengthened by my grace. Too many people have allowed their wounds to rename them. They introduce themselves to life through their disappointments. They see themselves through the lens of rejection. They define themselves by what happened to them instead of what I say about them. But your history is not your identity. The betrayal was real. The rejection was real. The loneliness was real. But those things are chapters. They are not the title of your story. Listen carefully. Some of you are still carrying words spoken over you years ago. Words from people who were angry. Words from people who were careless. Words from people who did not understand your value. And those words became chains around your heart. You replay them over and over. You are not enough. You will never succeed. No one will ever love you. You don't belong. But why are you allowing temporary voices to speak louder than the eternal voice of God? Why are you believing people who did not create you more than the one who did? When a manufacturer describes a product, we trust the manufacturer because they designed it. I designed you. I formed you. I know your purpose. I know your value. I know your future. And I am telling you now that your loneliness does not define you. In fact, some of the people who changed the world spent seasons alone. Moses spent years in the wilderness. David spent lonely nights tending sheep. Paul endured seasons of isolation. Even Jesus himself experienced moments when others could not fully understand the burden he carried. Yet those lonely seasons were not wasted. They were preparation. And perhaps that is what is happening in your life right now. Perhaps what feels like isolation is preparation. Perhaps what feels like delay is development. Perhaps what feels like silence is instruction. Have you ever noticed how a tree grows? For a long time, nothing dramatic appears above the ground. But beneath the surface, roots are growing. Strength is developing. Foundations are being established. The unseen work comes before the visible growth. And many people become discouraged because they judge their progress by what they can see. But I am often doing my greatest work beneath the surface. In places nobody applauds. In moments nobody celebrates. In seasons nobody understands. You may feel like nothing is changing. Yet your faith is growing. Your wisdom is growing. Your endurance is growing. Your dependence on me is growing. And one day the roots will support a harvest that could never have existed without this season. James 1 verses 2-4 teaches that trials produce perseverance, and perseverance produces maturity. Notice that growth often comes through struggle, not because I enjoy your pain, but because some lessons can only be learned by walking through difficult places. Think about the strongest people you know. Most of them were not shaped by comfort. They were shaped by challenges. They were shaped by perseverance. They were shaped by faith when circumstances gave them reasons to quit. Chosen one, I know there are moments when you feel tired of being strong. Moments when you wish someone would carry you for a while. Moments when you wish the burden would simply disappear. And I want you to hear my heart. You do not have to carry everything alone. That was never my plan. Matthew 11 verse 28 says, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." Not more pressure. Not more guilt. Not more fear. Rest. Real rest. The kind of rest that reaches places inside the soul that sleep cannot fix. Because some of you are not tired from work. You are tired from worry. You are tired from disappointment. You are tired from carrying emotional weights that have become too heavy. You are tired from pretending to be okay when your heart is hurting. You are tired from fighting battles in silence. And I am telling you now, bring those burdens to me. Bring the fear. Bring the anxiety. Bring the loneliness. Bring the disappointment. Bring the questions. Bring the tears you have hidden from everyone else. You do not have to clean yourself up before coming to me. You do not have to have every answer. You do not have to be perfect. You simply have to come. Because the moment you stop carrying everything by yourself is often the moment healing truly begins. Because healing, chosen one, is not merely the removal of pain. Healing is learning to trust me again where you were hurt. Healing is believing my truth when your emotions tell you something different. Healing is allowing my love to reach the places you have locked away for years. And this is where many people become stuck. They want healing without surrender. They want peace without trust. They want freedom without letting go. But if your hands are tightly holding yesterday, how can you receive what I am offering today? Some of you are holding on to old disappointments so tightly that you have no room left for hope. You revisit the same wounds. You replay the same conversations. You relive the same heartbreaks. You keep returning to places in your mind that I have been asking you to leave. And every time you go back, the wound feels fresh again. Tell me, chosen one, how much of your suffering is coming from what happened? And how much is coming from repeatedly reopening what happened? This is not condemnation. This is wisdom. Because many people are trapped, not by the event itself, but by their refusal to release it. You cannot change yesterday. You cannot rewrite the chapter. You cannot undo the words that were spoken. But you can decide whether yesterday will continue controlling tomorrow. You can decide whether pain will be your prison or your teacher. You can decide whether the wound will define you or refine you. Listen carefully. Forgiveness does not mean what happened was acceptable. Forgiveness does not mean pretending the pain never existed. Forgiveness does not mean trusting someone who continues to harm you. Forgiveness means placing justice in my hands instead of carrying it in your heart. Because every ounce of bitterness you carry becomes a burden you were never designed to bear. I know some of you have been deeply wounded. Some wounds were caused by strangers. Some by friends. Some by family. Some by people you trusted most. And because the wound came from someone close, the pain cut deeper. You keep asking, why did they do that to me? Why wasn't I enough? Why didn't they care? But sometimes the answers you seek will never come from the people who hurt you. Sometimes closure comes not from their explanation, but from my healing. Sometimes freedom comes not from understanding everything, but from trusting me with what you cannot understand. Remember Joseph. His brothers betrayed him. They sold him. They wounded him. They changed the course of his life. Yet years later, he could say something extraordinary. You meant evil against me, but God meant it for good. Genesis 50 verse 20. Notice he did not deny the evil. He did not pretend it never happened. He simply recognized that my purpose was greater than their actions. And I want you to hear this deeply. What others did to you may have affected your journey, but it does not control your destiny. I am greater than the betrayal. I am greater than the rejection. I am greater than the loneliness. I am greater than the mistake. I am greater than the loss. Nothing that happened to you is bigger than my ability to redeem it. Chosen one, there are people listening right now who have secretly concluded that they are difficult to love. You would never say it out loud, but deep inside, that belief has been growing. Because of what happened. Because of who left. Because of who stayed silent. Because of who disappointed you. You started believing that if you were truly valuable, people would have treated you differently. But let me ask you something. Was Jesus valuable? Of course he was. Yet he was rejected. Was David valuable? Yet many misunderstood him. Was Joseph valuable? Yet he was betrayed. Was Paul valuable? Yet he often stood alone. The way people treat you is not always a reflection of your worth. Sometimes it is a reflection of their own blindness. Do not confuse rejection with lack of value. A person can walk past a treasure without recognizing its worth. And many people walk past blessings because they cannot see what is standing before them. Chosen one, I need you to stop viewing yourself through the eyes of people who failed to appreciate you. View yourself through my eyes. When I look at you, I do not see a lost cause. I do not see a failure. I do not see someone forgotten. I see someone worth dying for. Let that truth settle into your heart. The cross was not an accident. It was a declaration of your value, a declaration of my love, a declaration that no darkness would ever have the final word over your life. That is why loneliness can never tell the full story about who you are, because loneliness says, you are alone. But the cross says, you are loved. Loneliness says, nobody cares. But the cross says, I gave everything for you. Loneliness says, your future is hopeless. But the resurrection says, there is life beyond what seems dead. And perhaps that is exactly what you need to hear today. Not that your pain isn't real. Not that your struggle doesn't matter. But that neither one has the final word. I do. And my final word over your life is not despair. It is hope. Not abandonment. But presence. Not defeat. But victory. Not darkness. But light. Not loneliness. But love. A love deeper than your deepest wound. A love stronger than your greatest fear. A love that has been pursuing you even in the moments you felt most forgotten. And that love is reaching for you right now. And as my love reaches for you, chosen one, there is something you must understand. Love is not merely something I give. Love is who I am. That means my love for you is not based on your performance. It does not increase when you succeed. It does not disappear when you fail. It does not weaken when you struggle. It does not leave when you question. Many people spend their lives trying to earn what I have already offered freely. They believe that if they become better, stronger, more successful, more impressive, then they will finally be worthy of love. But listen carefully. You do not earn sunlight. You simply stand in it. And you do not earn my love. You simply receive it. Some of you have spent years fighting battles that nobody knows about. Battles with fear. Battles with shame. Battles with regret. Battles with loneliness. And because those battles have lasted so long, you have started believing they will always be part of your life. But what if the chains you have accepted are chains I am ready to break? What if the prison you have become comfortable living in is a prison whose door is already open? What if the voice telling you to give up is the very voice you should stop listening to? Chosen one, there are moments when the enemy does not need to destroy a person. He only needs to convince them that change is impossible. Because once a person loses hope, they stop moving forward. They stop believing. They stop expecting. They stop praying with confidence. They stop dreaming. And slowly they begin surviving instead of living. Is that where you are today? Have you stopped expecting good things because disappointment has visited your life so many times? Have you lowered your expectations because you are afraid of being hurt again? Have you convinced yourself that nothing will ever change? If so, hear me clearly. Your future is not determined by your present feelings. Your future is not determined by your current circumstances. Your future is not determined by the opinions of people. Your future is in my hands, and my hands have never lost control. Jeremiah 29 verse 11 declares, For I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. Notice something powerful. The verse does not say you know the plans. It says I know the plans. Many of your frustrations come from demanding answers before trusting me. You want to see the entire road before taking the next step. But faith has always worked differently. Faith says, I do not see everything, but I trust the one who does. Think about a child walking with a loving parent. The child does not need to know every turn in the road. The child simply trusts the hand that is guiding them. And I am asking you to trust my hand, even when life feels uncertain, even when loneliness tries to convince you that you are forgotten, even when the future seems unclear. Trust my hand. Because I can see what you cannot. I can see the people you have not met yet. I can see the opportunities that have not arrived yet. I can see the healing that has not fully manifested yet. I can see the prayers that are already moving toward fulfillment. And if you could see what I see, you would not be nearly as afraid. Chosen one, some of your greatest blessings are currently hidden from your view. Not because I am withholding them, but because I am preparing you for them. Imagine giving a child the keys to a powerful vehicle. The gift may be good, but the timing would be wrong. Preparation protects the blessing. And there are things I am preparing in your life that require you to become stronger, wiser, and more dependent on me first. That is why waiting is not always punishment. Sometimes waiting is preparation. Sometimes waiting is protection. Sometimes waiting is proof that I care enough not to give you something before the proper time. Ecclesiastes 3 verse 11 says, He has made everything beautiful in its time. Not your time. Not society's time. Not other people's time. My time. And my timing sees things your perspective cannot. The seed does not become a tree overnight. The sunrise does not arrive a moment too early. The seasons do not rush themselves. And neither will my plans for your life. So stop condemning yourself because your journey looks different from someone else's. Stop believing that you are behind. Stop measuring your progress against people whose assignments are completely different from yours. You are not late. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. You are on a journey, and journeys require patience. The problem is that loneliness often makes people feel as though nothing is happening. But some of the most important things happen in silence. Roots grow in silence. Healing happens in silence. Character develops in silence. Faith deepens in silence. And often, my greatest work in your life happens long before anyone else can see it, including you. So do not despise this season. Do not waste it. Do not rush through it without learning what it came to teach you. Because there are treasures hidden here. There is wisdom hidden here. There is strength hidden here. There is intimacy with me hidden here. And one day, you will thank me for lessons that today you struggle to understand. Not because the pain was pleasant, but because the growth was priceless. Not because the loneliness was easy, but because it taught you where true companionship is found. Not because the tears felt good, but because they watered the ground where faith would grow. And when that day comes, you will realize that what felt like the end was actually the beginning of a deeper relationship with me than you had ever known before. Because, chosen one, the deepest loneliness is not always the loneliness of being without people. The deepest loneliness is forgetting who walks beside you. Many people spend years searching for someone to save them from the emptiness inside. They search through relationships. They search through accomplishments. They search through possessions. They search through endless distractions. Yet the emptiness remains. Not because those things are evil, but because they were never designed to carry the weight of your soul. Only I can do that. Only my presence can reach the places inside you that no human being can touch. Only my love can heal wounds that words cannot explain. Only my peace can calm storms that nobody else can even see. That is why I am calling you closer. Not closer to religion. Closer to me. There is a difference. Many know about me. Few truly know me. Many can quote scripture. Few have learned to rest in my presence. Many speak to me only when life falls apart. Few walk with me daily. And yet I am inviting you into something deeper. Not a relationship built on fear. Not a relationship built on obligation. But a relationship built on love. A relationship where you stop seeing me as distant and begin knowing me as near. A relationship where prayer becomes more than words. A relationship where my voice becomes more familiar than your fears. A relationship where my promises become stronger than your doubts. Chosen one, imagine how different your life would be if you truly believed I was with you every moment. How different would your worries be? How different would your fears be? How different would your loneliness feel? If you knew beyond all doubt that I was standing beside you right now. Because I am. When you sit alone, I am there. When you cry, I am there. When you feel misunderstood, I am there. When you wake up in the middle of the night carrying burdens nobody else knows about, I am there. When your heart is breaking and you do not know what to pray, I am there. Romans 8 verse 26 tells you that even when you do not know what to pray, the Spirit helps you in your weakness. Think about that. Even in moments when words fail you, heaven has not stopped listening. Even when you are exhausted, even when you are confused, even when all you can do is cry, I understand. I hear. I know. Chosen one, some of you have become discouraged because your prayers seem unanswered. You have prayed for companionship. You have prayed for healing. You have prayed for direction. You have prayed for relief. And because the answer has not arrived the way you expected, doubt has started creeping into your heart. You wonder if I heard you. You wonder if I care. You wonder if anything is happening at all. But let me ask you something. When a seed is planted beneath the soil, does the farmer dig it up every day to check if it is growing? No. The farmer trusts the process. Growth is happening even when it cannot be seen. And many of my answers are growing beneath the surface of your life right now. You cannot see them yet. But that does not mean they are not coming. You cannot touch them yet. But that does not mean I have forgotten. You cannot understand them yet. But that does not mean I am absent. Faith is trusting me before the evidence appears. Faith is believing my promises before circumstances confirm them. Faith is standing on my word when your emotions are pulling you in the opposite direction. And I know that is not always easy. I know there are nights when fear feels stronger than faith. I know there are mornings when disappointment feels heavier than hope. I know there are moments when loneliness feels louder than my promises. But feelings are temporary. My word is eternal. The storm changes. My truth does not. The season changes. My truth does not. People change. My truth does not. Circumstances change. My truth does not. And my truth says that you are not alone. My truth says that you are loved. My truth says that you are chosen. My truth says that you have a future. My truth says that your life has purpose. Chosen one, the enemy trembles when you begin believing those truths. Because a person who knows they are loved becomes difficult to defeat. A person who knows they are chosen stops living for approval. A person who knows they are not alone stops surrendering to despair. A person who knows my promises begins walking differently, thinking differently, praying differently, living differently. That is why this message is not simply about loneliness. It is about identity. Because once you know who you are in me, loneliness loses much of its power. You stop asking people to tell you your worth. You stop begging for validation. You stop depending on temporary things for eternal needs. You begin standing on a foundation that cannot be shaken. And that foundation is my love for you. A love that existed before your first breath. A love that remains through every failure. A love that follows you through every valley. A love that refuses to give up on you. A love that will still be there long after every earthly thing has passed away. And chosen one, if you can truly grasp that love, it will change the way you see every lonely moment from this day forward. This message teaches that loneliness is not simply the absence of people. It is often a deeper spiritual and emotional struggle. Many people feel lonely even when surrounded by others because they are searching for fulfillment, validation, and peace in places that cannot truly satisfy the human soul. Jesus explains that loneliness often exposes hidden wounds, fears, disappointments, and unmet needs that people try to ignore through busyness and distractions. Rather than seeing loneliness as punishment, believers are encouraged to view it as a season where God can draw them closer to Himself, reveal areas that need healing, and strengthen their faith. The message emphasizes several key truths. Your worth is not determined by who accepts or rejects you. Rejection does not mean you are unloved or forgotten by God. Pain, betrayal, and loneliness are experiences, not your identity. God is always present, even when He feels distant. Healing begins when you bring your wounds honestly before God. Comparison with others often deepens loneliness and steals joy. Seasons of waiting and isolation can be periods of preparation and growth. Forgiveness frees the heart from carrying burdens that belong to God. True peace comes from knowing your identity in Christ rather than seeking constant approval from people. God's love is unconditional, unchanging, and stronger than any loneliness. Throughout the teaching, biblical examples such as Joseph, David, Elijah, Paul, and Jesus show that even God's servants experienced loneliness, yet God used those seasons to prepare them for greater purpose. The central message is that loneliness loses its power when a person understands who they are in God. Instead of seeing themselves as abandoned, forgotten, or unwanted, they learn to see themselves as chosen, loved, valued, and never truly alone. God's presence, not human approval, is the ultimate answer to the loneliness many people experience today. Core takeaway: loneliness is not proof that God has left you. Often, it is an invitation to discover His presence, healing, purpose, and unconditional love more deeply than ever before.